Alrighty, so we're starting in the studio today. An unusual occurrence of late because we've been doing so many fun location things, but I got a new lens on Black Friday because I could, finally. This is something I've wanted for a long time. It is the Canon macro 100mm f2.8L IS general heap of sexiness. I actually do have a macro lens already, which is the, when I get all the letters wrong, the Sigma 70mm f2.8 DG macro. I've had this for a little while, not super long, less than a year probably, and I got it for actually for copy work, for photographing photo albums. It's really good for that because 70mm is like, it's long enough to not have a lot of distortion and to be inexpensive, but it's short enough where you don't need to have your tripod like 8 feet in the air to take a picture of, like, you know, an 8x10 or 8.5x11, whatever. And it's a good lens, but I kind of don't like it. And there are two basic reasons that I don't really like it. One, it's real slow. It focuses slowly. It kind of wanders around a little bit if you're trying to track something that's moving with the autofocus, which is not really the intended use case of it, but you have to do that sometimes. And it just, you know, it's not really for that. And two, I have had this problem with other Sigma lenses that I've like seen demos of or tried, and it's just they have a very kind of cool color balance. I like things to look warm and happy. I'm sad enough as it is. I don't need my photos to also be sad and cold. I'm cold right now, even though I'm in Los Angeles. This is ridiculous. The heat's on and I'm still cold. Don't need a cold lens. The idea with this video is to kind of compare these two lenses, which in some ways are not really competitors with each other. For a long time, the Canon was like 2.5 to 3 times the money as the Sigma, so it's more expensive. 70mm, 100mm, pretty different focal lengths, not really the same kind of lens. However, part of the reason I got the Sigma when I got the Sigma was because I couldn't afford this one. So I feel like there's some validity to this comparison. I think I paid like a little north of $300 for the Sigma. I finally was able to pick this one up for just under $5 on a Black Friday sale at Lens Rentals. Prices on these things are finally coming down. The prices on all of the awesome older EF lenses, and probably on other platforms as well, are really tanking, and this is a great time to buy them because they are still good, and you can put them on mirrorless cameras, or you don't have to buy a mirrorless camera. You just use the DSLR you already have, or pick up one of those for cheap and get a 7D Mark II for like $500, which is like the baby 1DX. I'm thinking about doing that. I probably won't, to my friends and family watching, but it's in my brain a lot in terms of similarities and differences. Autofocus, manual focus switch, and then focus range, full 1/2 meter to infinity. On this one it's 1/4 meter to 1/2 meter. On this one it's 1/3 of a meter to 1/2 meter because of the different focal lengths to get you to 1:1. This one's stabilizer off and on. No stabilizer on this one, so no switch there. Filter ring, the Canon uses a 67mm, which is pretty common, reasonably affordable, and a lot of the EFS lenses use that, so I've got a bunch of those already from those lenses. Nice and easy. The Sigma is a real small 49mm, which is I think the same size as the little EF50 1.8. So that's kind of handy, nice small filter size. Not a bad thing, save you some money there for sure. In terms of build quality, I want to go with Roger Sakala on this one. Build quality is impossible to discern by looking at the outside of a lens. They both are similar weights. The Sigma's a little heavier. The Canon has like a nice composite, you know, engineered plastic body. The Sigma has a metal body. I would say the Sigma maybe feels a little more premium. It might just be because it's shiny. Canon's a little bit bigger. They are both weather sealed, although I will say I only had the Sigma for like 3 weeks before a good hunk of the weather sealing gasket just like ripped off. See, that's more relevant to build quality than how much it weighs or, you know, how shiny the body is. Anyway, I'm going to go out into the yard and take some pictures, talk about the good and bad of the two lenses and just sort of maybe this will be interesting to somebody. It seems like it could be a relevant comparison. Also, this is Saturday. This video's due, quote unquote, in like 4 days, and I haven't had any other ideas, so, you know, panic is the mother of invention. So, yeah, let's do it. This here shall be my subject, this little red closed flower. Canon first. I'm going to try to go for similar framing, so the 100mm, that'll be a little farther away than the 70, but hopefully I'll get the framing about the same. I am just kind of using autofocus. I'm hand holding it because I'm being lazy. So let's switch lenses and try the Sigma. So I'm going to show you one of the quirks of this lens is the very extendy front element that makes the focus kind of slow, but I think that was a deliberate design choice to get accurate and precise autofocus in on a budget. They kind of sacrifice speed and convenience for that, and at the price point I think that's perfectly reasonable, but just be aware that it's a little bit goofy and that thing swings around a lot. I'm going to go ahead and manually rack it out to macro and then use the autofocus to kind of get it more precise, because that seems to be an easier way of dealing with macro focusing. Another quirk is I didn't rack the focus back in while it was attached to the camera because it's all electric. I have to hook it back up to the camera to shrink it. So that's just one of those convenience things that could be more convenient. So I want to do one more comparison and kind of reset both lenses to like infinity focus, do the lockout for macro, and then see how long they take to focus on a thing. So, be fairly close. Alright, and go. Alright. That was kind of a while. Let's try the Canon. Alright, so same deal with the Canon. So as I've been finishing this video, I noticed just the sheer sharpness of the Sigma, and I became intrigued by this. I was doing everything outside, which is what I kind of tend to like to do with macro photography, and it was been breezy, so some of the stuff was moving around, so I couldn't be sure if I was seeing like real extra sharpness or if the Sigma was just getting a little bit luckier with like the breeze and stuff like that. So I took stuff inside and kind of was a little bit more scientific about it. I will not say that I was scientific, but a bit more. And at least in so far as the two copies of these lenses that I have, the Sigma is noticeably sharper than the Canon, which is pretty rad, especially considering its price point. It's not like the Canon isn't sharp. It's just the Sigma's like, whoo, good lord. Which, if you're doing nothing but macro work, is really something to consider. In taking these extra pictures, I also became very acquainted with the reason I wanted the Canon. I don't do a bunch of real macro work. I like take pictures of bugs when they come in the yard. For me, it's more like going to be for more like 1 to 2 stuff, hand holding when I'm out in the woods somewhere. So the use case for the Canon still makes sense to me, and I don't feel like I've made a mistake or anything here. However, I am extraordinarily impressed with the way the Sigma stacks up in terms of sheer sharpness. I still don't like the way it handles. The bokeh is maybe a little messy. God damn, is it sharp. I'm still kind of feeling under the weather. Miss Birdie is sick again. We're not doing well here. Send beer and cheese. Like, comment, subscribe. I love